Hey folks, tomorrow, Saturday, June 9th, we are going to be performing at the Royal American at 9 p.m. We're opening up for the other bands that are performing before Tyree Young. He is going to be performing all of Season 3, which is his new album that we talked about in our last interview with him. You can go ahead and stream that album anywhere you stream music. It's great. But again, tomorrow, Saturday, June 9th. Isaiah, go back in your room. We're going to be performing live, recording our first live episode in front of an audience. So come out and be part of a very, very special night. It's gonna be history. So come out and be part of it. Saturday, June 9th, tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Apple juice for two.
And I don't have alpha brain.
Hello and welcome everybody to another Apple Juice for Two exclusive interview.
Apple juice for two.
Today we are joined by a Charleston/LA photographer, Mr. Jovon. Is that your full name?
Yes, Jovon Roberts.
Jovon Roberts. We're here with Jovon Roberts today. Jovon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here for the second time. You were here.
This is the second time that he's actually in our apartment.
Yeah,
Not quite like this yet. You know,
that's true. Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
When we just put that
beginnings,
together.
I've been here since the start.
Literally. Quite frankly, you actually have been here since the start.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this with him just now, but I don't think we had it set up like this.
No, it was
No.
like we had it like completely. I think we still had that couch. We didn't have that
Yeah,
couch.
and we had like just the desk set up.
we
Here
had the
and
desk
stuff like
set
that.
up, and then like because I was DJing apparently behind and stuff like that. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was.
It was not ideal,
Not at all.
but this is a lot better.
Yeah, no, a lot better. This is definitely leveled up from what it was like back in like I think mid or late January. I don't even know when that.
Yeah, it was like when we had first moved here and stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this is a lot better. This is definitely a lot better than what it was.
But so, Javon, how you been? You just came back into Charleston, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
I just landed yesterday morning. I don't know how close I have to be to this.
You can be up on it, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
You can pull it closer to you if you need as well.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I landed yesterday morning. So I still need to catch up on some sleep.
Because there's a time difference, right?
Yeah.
3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So the flight was uncomfortable. I had a straight flight from LA to Charleston Airport.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it
Charleston, I
and
will
it
say-
left LA at 10:45
Oh,
at
wow.
night.
Oh my
Huh.
god.
So it was an uncomfortable ride, and then
That's bizarre.
I arrived in Charleston at 6:30. You know, because you kind of do a little time
Right.
travel thing.
Right, I mean, it's kind of trippy because you actually do time travel
Yeah. Oh
when
my
you do that.
gosh.
But there have been so many like airport cancellations and situations going on. Did you experience any of that?
No, actually,
That sucks.
I saw a lot of things about that, but you know,
It's bad.
I was prepared. But you know,
Nice.
if it didn't, if something came up, I would have just stayed.
Yeah.
You know, unless they were offering $10,000.
Oh no, I have to stay in LA.
Right.
Well, so what were you out in LA doing?
Oh well, I mean, I just recently moved out there. I don't know if you guys.
Nice, okay.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I left in March, and the whole plan was, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna get an apartment, and I'm just gonna be set. Everything's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that easy. Yeah, so
Apparently.
what happened was, I went there. I was staying with a friend of mine in Beverly Hills,
Mm-hmm.
and she was allowing me to stay there. Obviously, I was paying her some rent,
Yeah.
and I was thinking a month and I'll have my own spot. But a month and a half, and sketchy apartments,
Yeah.
Ooh.
sketchy ads,
Oof.
finding places that were kind of exactly what I wanted, but the entrances in like the surrounding area was like you'd never want to invite anybody over. So,
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
So it was like, dang. So much you had to like balance, and then a friend of mine, she's a celebrity makeup artist. Her name's Shadara Holmes. She told me about her apartment. I came through and I did a tour.
Nice.
And at first I was a little reluctant, just because I didn't even want to be anywhere where I knew somebody.
Oh my god.
That's a good point.
Because
That's funny.
because I just had this thing, I guess, where I always want to do everything by myself.
Right.
And
Right. That's
so
me.
I don't want anybody to even be around to try to help me or anything. So she's like, nah, it'd be good, to actually know somebody that lives in your apartment complex. Trust me, it comes in
That's
handy.
fair. No, that's fair.
And when push came to shove, I realized that was the perfect place for me.
Nice.
Good.
And so I locked that down, and I'm lucky enough to be in a clean environment where it's
Good.
safe,
Good.
and I don't have any roommates. Not that roommates are bad, but
Right.
It's a blessing to
Yeah.
have your own
a
space for
person-
sure.
that- if a person wants to be alone and they are actually able to do it, that's a good feeling. So,
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
so yeah, that's what I've been doing so far. Just lots of networking.
That's
Lots of-
tough. Moving and finding housing is such a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were kind of in the middle of that same process. We found a place that we think we're gonna. We're actually supposed to hear by today if we
yeah.
actually have it in the
In the
set in
bag.
stone. Yeah, in the bag. But it's definitely, like we said, it's a lot better than this place. So we're excited about that.
Oh yeah.
So besides that, you're coming back to Charleston just to visit then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4th of July.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's 4th of
you know,
July.
4th of
whether yeah, exactly, whether there is something necessary for us to celebrate, Black people gonna have a cookout.
Yeah, we gonna
So-
celebrate.
Celebrating food.
Yeah.
So it was a good
exactly.
time to
Celebration.
just
Be
have
with
a lot
family
of
and
family
stuff.
at the
That's-
same
yeah.
time.
Everybody's got some time.
Some of the people I didn't get to see before I moved.
Mhm.
I was able to catch them, because I might be gone a longer amount of time before I come back to visit again. So
Right.
Right.
it was really cool, seeing grandma and all these other people.
I got
So
you.
it was
Family.
nice, yeah.
I got you.
So did you decide to take move to LA permanently because you're just getting so much work there and it just makes more sense, or like what made you
I
wanna
had
live
been
there?
back and forth. When it comes to the volume of work, I wouldn't say that it was something that was stupendous or anything, but the feeling that I have when I'm there, I feel more comfortable there.
I bet, yeah.
And so, having a change of scenery.
What about LA that makes you feel more comfortable? Or what about Charleston makes you not feel?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say Charleston makes me feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
But the lack of access to resources obviously would be
yeah.
one thing. For the realm of entertainment photography that I want to
Totally,
delve into,
yeah.
it's definitely not a high market
That's
for
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not here.
And it's obviously a high market for that in LA.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
I figured, doing the math.
That's where the biz is,
you
for sure.
know?
The math
Yeah.
is
So
mathing.
so far it's been working, and it's a lot of networking and a lot of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's who you know.
Yeah.
Not what you know.
So you want to get into celebrity photography, as in what does that mean exactly?
Well, I said entertainment photography,
entertainment,
but just people that are in the entertainment industry, whether they're musicians or actors,
Okay,
or
that
movie
makes
stars
sense.
or dancers or
Anybody
anything.
in LA, basically.
Yeah,
Those people.
exactly. The Uber driver will definitely get out and start pop blocking by.
A photo series by Jovon.
That's crazy.
Uber drivers in LA.
Yeah, you never know who your Uber driver is in
That's true.
in LA. It's pretty
Could be the next Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
No joke.
No, seriously. You seriously never know.
Everybody hears so much about LA.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, it's kind of like one of those things in America, like New York. It has like this mythos of itself and stuff. I've never been in everything, but do you think it's the way people think about it or describe it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Am I allowed to look in the camera?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm actually dramatic sometimes, but
You're breaking that fourth wall once you
I'll-
look at the camera.
right.
Don't worry, I'll do the
Deadpool
close up
action.
there.
Yeah. So, myths. Am I about to bust the myths? Some of it's true and some of it's not.
Mm.
I think it's both, not and is. It just
Mhm.
depends on who you are and what kind of circles that you're in.
That makes
you can
sense.
have two totally different worlds.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems very divided. Like they have a huge homeless problem and stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And all
Right.
that.
And parking, I heard, is really, really difficult there as well.
Oh, yes, non-existent.
Gosh, that sounds awful.
Is there as much traffic there as this is turning into like the LA question?
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
think about it. I mean, maybe
You've
other
never been
people
to
want to
LA
move
here.
there or
Yeah.
something. So, but yeah, the traffic. I'd probably bust that myth
Okay.
because I don't know. I don't know where the people that complain about the traffic came from.
Oh, okay. Really?
But I find it to be pretty normal. I mean,
So like Charleston has a traffic issue as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
It's on
you know,
par.
and
is that you said?
yeah, it's like scaled though. So
Fucking hear that.
yeah, exactly. So we're smaller
Right.
and we have less people. They're bigger, but they have
Better
proportionate
infrastructure.
amount of people to fill that amount of space. So
Uh-huh.
it's about the same amount of movement on the road.
Proportionally.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cool place. I can't wait to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, driving is always great. There's always some kind of view.
Right.
Like,
sure. Yeah.
it's
Jeez.
like you could, be in your head about something and then just look up and then it's just like, damn. I've
It's
never
like
seen that.
it's romanticized. Like you can romanticize things.
Yes.
Easily there.
Yes, you can drive to the grocery store and feel like you're in La La Land. Like you're driving and there's music playing. Like
That's
it's-
cool.
It's
I
really
mean,
nice.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So did you start like doing photography and stuff in Charleston? Are you from Charleston? Or-
Yes, I am from a small town called Hollywood, South
I
Carolina.
know Hollywood, South Carolina.
And it's about 35 minutes away, 40 minutes.
close to
Okay.
Ravenel.
Yeah,
I've definitely heard of that.
going towards Edisto Beach for anybody.
Yeah. In
from
Walterboro.
Yeah, and so I started photography. It was about 5-6 years ago now, 6 years. And I mean, I didn't start taking it seriously until about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 years, a year and a half or so, I was just kind of like shooting my friends for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to. I brought my camera to every event,
Nice. Yeah.
everything. I was ready. Getting everybody's contact info, just becoming the guy
Right.
that
Yeah,
took
yeah.
photos.
That makes sense.
you know.
Yeah. The person that people go to.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to be the first thing on people's minds when and then because for anybody that's in the creative space that like sells product or does a service, Facebook is like a big place where people will ask for something. So,
That's true.
oh, I need a photographer
For
you know?
weddings and stuff.
Yeah,
and all that.
So there would always be multiple people tagging me. Because
Oh, really?
it's
Nice.
The first person.
That's
I'm just
helpful.
The only photographer I know.
Yeah, when I see some of that stuff, it's like posted 5 minutes ago with like 45 responses or replies. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just people hop on that so fast.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
for those types of things,
Right,
like
yeah.
the people are very quick to lend help. Everybody wants to look like
That's
they're
true.
helping you.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good
Yeah.
appearance wise and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, what sparked your interest in photography? Do you think?
A friend of mine at the time was making music videos.
Nice.
Okay, so there's lots of things. I mean, okay, so I was in the Air Force before.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know how
So you got your
much
discipline.
kind of like deep you guys are trying to get in the past, but
Let's go all the way back.
yeah, back to the beginning. But yeah, so when I got out of the Air Force, a friend of mine that I went to school with, he was shooting music videos, and so I was like, I'm gonna make a movie. That was just my
Naturally.
first thought. Yeah. That's my first thought. I was like, yeah. I grew up singing, acting. I was always on stage doing something. I can't dance.
No, neither can I.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean,
But
it's tough.
yeah, so I was like, I'll try something new. Camera, boom. Never thought much of it. I started to try to teach myself the settings because everybody knows, for people that don't put their cameras on auto, it's pretty. You have to know a lot of like math.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of numbers you got to configure together.
shutter speed,
your
your ISO,
aperture,
your
and
aperture,
yeah, exactly.
the triangle.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time trying to master that. So I would just like shoot water bottles, like just at the house, and try to like just make it nice and like moody the way that I would want like a scene to be.
Yeah.
Then shortly after, started adding people in there.
Right.
My friends,
Yeah.
they would lend a helping hand, of course. Free photos.
It's like, hey, I need to take a photo of some
Exactly.
bodies.
Yep, exactly. And over time, very quickly actually, I noticed people just liked it.
Nice.
I
Right.
wasn't hearing any complaints, and
Yeah.
know,
Can't be bad.
word started to spread that I was taking photos in the area, and a lot of people started to reach out to me. I started to do different events, college events, birthday parties, baby showers, weddings. Yeah, not too
Nice.
much of a wedding fan.
Oh,
Shooting them, but it's stressful. But I've done them.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I've shot one wedding one time, and
Oh, I had no idea.
the dude I was supposed to. I'll tell you more about it later, because names. But the dude who was supposed to be like my assistant or like just like my helping hand, kind of, just like totally bailed on me and flaked for the whole thing and fucked me over big time. You know who you are. Fuck you. I'm joking. But
Dang.
well, that's a good feeling, like when you're young and you start doing something and you start getting a positive response from people. You're like, oh, okay, maybe
It's the
Yes.
validation that we all need.
Yeah, and it was from something that I'd never thought anybody would care
Yeah.
for me to do.
Uh-huh.
So I was really shocked. Sometimes you find something that you're good at that you're just good at.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, I
Just have a
do,
knack for it.
but I put a lot of time in YouTube
Sure.
University, to figure this stuff out. But
You
um,
do.
to a certain extent,
Yeah.
there is sort of like a natural ability that has to be had.
I mean, you have to have at least an eye.
Yeah.
For, I guess, especially with photography, like composition and color.
Yeah.
Some people just don't really have that brain or way to think about that. You know what I mean? When did you start getting paid for photography? And like, was that exciting, or did you have to kind of like fight for that? Because I know some people kind of get stuck and like people assume that photography or take it for granted and you expect it to be free. You know, like, hey, can you come take photos for my thing? Oh, you need to charge me, or like they're blown away by that. Has that ever been an issue for you?
I wouldn't say an issue. I mean, obviously, there are people that'll approach you, with the expectation that they can get free things because they feel like they're a certain status or something like that. Now, when it comes to getting paid for photography, I've always gotten paid.
Nice.
Like I said, I started off doing like baby showers and
Right.
and all those kind of things. I mean, I got paid for those.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and
Makes
those were
sense.
usually referral jobs, cousins or friends that I went to school with, or like people that I've shot with. They'll be like, hey, there's this guy. And then
Right. Yeah.
I'd go and do that. But yeah, I've always gotten paid for that. Yeah, I mean, every photographer does, collaborative work along the way, of course, for their own artistic expression or, whatever their goals are, set. But other than that, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
it's never been like an issue. It's been like a standard thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Word.
I guess if you just like start out with that, that's just how you go throughout.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. I know people that started off with strictly just free,
Yeah. And it's
And-
hard to get out of that.
yeah, and then you see people start to take advantage of them, and then they start to like hate taking photos, and then
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Because these days, like, and this is another question I want to ask. What do you think is like, everybody has phones and cameras and stuff. Like, we all have pretty good cameras in our phones and shit. You know what I mean? What to you like is the value of having a photographer somewhere to, like?
Well, everybody gets to get in the photo.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Exactly.
So that's number one. That's the reason why somebody would hire a photographer for an event, so they don't have to worry about it.
That's
You
true,
know, they don't have to pull their phones out. I mean, obviously they do, but
Yeah.
they don't have to. You don't have to worry about missing little moments and stuff because you have
Somebody's
this guy
there
that's
filling in the
flying
blanks.
around, just
Exactly.
snap. So that's one thing. Other than that, having a trained professional when it comes to understanding light,
True.
That's a good
because
point,
that's all photography is about.
Mm.
Photo, light. So yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's just problem solving. You're just constantly trying to solve a light issue.
Especially in like natural settings or
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, you might, if you're outside and maybe the sun is directly in front or directly above the subject and it's casting large shadows, you might want to take them into a more evenly shadowed area,
Right.
which will give a nice soft light on them. I mean, but you have to know that.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
to a certain extent, you can't just sit there and change the settings on your camera and it work. Sometimes you do have to manipulate your surroundings in order to make it the way you would like it to look.
Right.
know?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. What is your favorite thing to shoot? Like, I guess obviously creative people is kind of where you want to go. But
Yeah. Well, just people in general, but
Nice.
shooting interesting people or people that share the same interest as me.
Mm-hmm.
If I was able to do that every single day,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Nice.
Great conversation.
Yeah,
know?
that's true. Yeah.
So that's the only reason why that's been put more in the forefront, and
I
it's
see.
what's been coming to me constantly as
Right.
well. So it's kind of like
Just
okay,
lean into that.
yeah, I never, when I picked up the camera, I never thought, even though I said I was going to shoot a movie, I never thought that I'd be, taking photos of people in movies and television or
Mhm.
anything like that.
Yeah.
That was never my thought.
Right.
Do
Do you still want to make a movie?
It's cool. Oh yeah, of
Nice.
course. Yeah, of course. One thing, moving to LA, making a movie. Yeah, exactly. Now sometimes there's resources and then there's resources you don't have, which is like people you actually know.
Yeah. That's true.
If I know 200 people, do I know 200 people here? I don't know. If I know a large amount of people here in Charleston, but then I go to a place where nobody knows me, it's kind of, you still have to like rally these people together. If you want to shoot something like a film or something, you still have to get a cast and
Oh my God,
all that kind of stuff, And, I wouldn't know these people, whereas like, I could find actors here that I know. That'd be
true.
great.
Yeah. That you know and trust
exactly.
to a certain extent.
Yeah. So who knows? The movie, when it comes, might be shot here.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
true. That'd be awesome.
That would be dope.
These days, like networking for you, what gives you the best results? Like talking to just like introducing yourself to people, or mostly just word of mouth? Like, what would be your advice to somebody who has trouble networking, basically?
Well, the talking to people thing is something that I've been working on recently since I moved to LA.
Okay.
When you're always in a vicinity of, people, somebody like when you go to an event or something out here, there's almost always somebody that in there. Whether it's the person that works the door or one of the guests or the bartender or the, the waitress or whatever. So you always have something to kind of grasp, like you have an identity, almost like, your face card, like, oh, I know this person is okay because such and such said so, but when you're on the other side of the country and nobody knows you,
You could be
it's kind of like,
whoever.
who are you?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, who invited you? Like,
Let me explain. I swear.
yeah, exactly. Like,
I know this
yeah,
person.
Yeah, Suzanne over there. I know her.
Yeah,
Trust
go
me.
back.
Please
Go
don't
way
kick
back.
me out.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of like, force myself out of my comfort zone. Whereas here, I didn't have to so much
Get
walk
yourself
up to
out there or
people
whatever.
and, I guess cold talk to people and say, hi, my
Right.
name is such and such. Whereas like, you'd have a friend that'd be like, hey, this is my friend Jovon, and then you meet people that way. Is there, I have to like, I'm in a room full of people that I don't know. They don't know me.
Literally force you guys.
Yep, I have to like literally walk up to people, or sometimes people will walk up to me. But I've met people out there, that I, if I go out somewhere, I can, I'm not always alone.
Right.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know them since elementary school, like they're
totally,
immediate
yeah.
friends.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little different.
That is totally different. I mean,
Yeah.
they only know like what you show them now. and
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can have a fresh start doing that too. You
That's
don't
true.
have a misconception of, who a person is before you meet them just based off of, 5 people that know that person.
Exactly.
You heard them talk about this person 5 times and you've made up this whole person in your head.
Yeah.
You
have
meet
something
them, it's
similar
totally
to that,
different.
especially now that I DJ. Before I'd be the one to be like, I DJ. But now I have friends and other people. Introduce me to their friends. Oh, by the way, he's a DJ.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wants to. He would love to come to like so and so's bar. He's gonna be at this bar. He's gonna like be at this event. So like I can see how like
Yeah.
in your case how people, especially here, they'd be like, oh, this is Jovon. Like Jovon takes great pictures. He's taking a picture for these people. I know him like very well.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna give you like the best content.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting that, trying to get more to that, obviously, here in regards to DJing. So, like, people will be like, rather than me always having to tell people I'm a DJ,
Yeah.
that more people walk up to me like, hey, like, I know you're a DJ. This person that works here mentioned to me, mentioned you, or mentioned about you to me. Like, I'm interested in getting you on, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah,
Yeah.
blah. So I'm sure that's probably happens to you all the time with photography. People just like,
Exactly.
I want you to shoot this. I want you to fly out here. I want you to be there. I want you to maybe give some constructive criticism on this person, that person. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
that touched my soul.
And yeah, and if you have real friends, then
Yeah.
that the intro is really like, hey, this is, Jovon.
Mhm.
He takes the best pictures on earth. You've never even taken a photo until he's taking the photo
DJ I've ever heard.
in life.
I'm like,
Hey, right?
I'm not that good.
Man, this
You're
guy,
like,
come
yeah,
on.
I took some
outta here.
pics.
Yeah, our friends are obviously our biggest fans.
Yeah,
Like
I
every
love it.
time every time like when I DJ, I'll try to play the song that Mr. Cameron Allen produced called the AJF2 anthem. I'm like, you hear this song, guys? He produced this. This
Forget
guy right
about
here,
it.
he's a producer. Like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. I always have to put my friends on in any and every
Don't
situation.
freak out. Don't be
But
nervous.
yeah, that hit home. Do you
Yeah.
have any inspirations I guess in terms of your photography, do you have like a person that has inspired you to maybe go outside the box and
Casey Neistat.
Oh no, not really. Inspiration isn't usually from like the big,
Right.
people that everybody on the planet
the
knows.
Tyler Perry's,
like one of my best friends. One of my best friends, Christopher Kavanaugh, he's a photographer as well. And, he's been doing this way longer than me, about double, if not a little bit more time. And, he inspires me. He's somebody, I look at his work ethic and I look at how he carries himself, especially in the photography business.
Yeah. Somebody who can sustain themselves and that kind of thing is definitely impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, even when it comes to like editing styles or, any little things that you can pick up, it's usually not, for me, it's usually not the
Tyler Perry's.
Big, well, I mean, Tyler Perry isn't taking photos. But,
that's like I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm
He's
so
like the
not
top
funny.
of the top.
I'm just not funny, but it's like throwing stabs at Tyler Perry. I did it last episode. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm sorry.
But
Anyway.
but yeah, so it's usually people like that, or just not always local people, even people from different cities, but they're not like, the number one talent on the planet.
Right.
In the world's eyes, to me they are. So that's why I model my work after people like that. So
Looking up to them and stuff.
yeah, and he's only 5 days older than me. You don't
shit.
have to be
Wow.
an old man to be a mentor. Your mentor can be your closest friend. It just depends on how they live their lives.
That's true.
So yeah,
Lead by example.
yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I guess, I mean, like, these days you really have to be social to a certain level, what I mean,
Right.
to interact with people.
Yeah.
You can't just be a shut-in and expect the world to come to you,
So true.
Yeah, you never, especially in LA, if you're quiet, you just go home.
Alone.
Yeah, exactly. You
Sulking.
definitely
Yeah.
go home alone. But it's definitely a place where you have to be loud, because there's so many of you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
trying to
There's
do
so much
the same
competition,
thing.
you know what I mean?
Everybody thinks they're special.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that they're doing.
That's true.
So you just have to speak up. It doesn't matter. I mean, standing in line at a grocery store, the person next to you, you might need to say, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Right.
Sorry to break the bad news to you, buddy, but you might have to say hi.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, for me, I always feel as if I know when I'm supposed to talk to someone.
That's true, yeah.
I feel
That's true.
like
You do know it.
You
Yeah.
know you
Whether or
do.
not you're like,
Yeah.
and you suppress it.
Right.
Yeah. Whether it's them being able to give you advice or,
Right.
finding a actual friend or somebody you can depend on or somebody
Right,
with similar
yeah.
interests. Sometimes you get that feeling like, you just want to say, "Hey, what's up?" or "Hey, how you doing?" or,
Yeah.
"My name's Jovon and I do such and such." And, you get in your head and you're like, they don't want to talk to me.
Why
You know.
me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to bother them.
Yeah.
know, and then-
what is that? It's
Yeah.
like a social anxiety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
imposter syndrome.
Yes,
I'm not
imposter
supposed to be here anyway. So,
Dude.
yeah. So,
That's a tough one.
yeah, once you
That
beat
happened to
that.
me recently when I was like, and I had to like,
DJing?
no, like recently, as in yesterday, I had the intuition to, like,
balls over
to, like, talk to somebody. Like the place I work at, I interact with like all the guests and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And this lady actually told me she was shooting a catalog like in Charleston, and I was just like, oh, really? Like, and she was just kind of just asking me on where's like the best places that she should maybe see that she can get pictures from. And I mentioned I can't remember, is it Queen Street or Cumberland where we got those pastel houses when we took those pictures? It's actually about to be years.
Rainbow
since we
Row?
took- It's not Rainbow Row. That's East Bay Street. But
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
but we took Cam and I took pictures last year.
Dude, that is.
And it's basically Rainbow Road, but just like on a smaller scale. I think it might be Cumberland.
Everything's
Yeah.
pastel in Charleston.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah. It was just a really nice neighborhood.
Even
But
the
that's true.
shorts.
It probably
yeah,
is.
and then like there's been
a
plenty
year.
of people that I've like talked to that I'm like, it was good. Like, I would give them my card, or I'll tell them about the podcast, and they'll be like, and then like they'd listen to it. I'm just like, oh, because there've been times where I told like
Yeah,
people,
you wanna talk
like,
about
oh,
it?
like don't forget my podcast. Oh no, Aperture too. I'm just like, shit, like damn, like I
Oh, wait,
remember.
yeah.
I told you yesterday. You were kind of drunk, but the fact that you remembered
Yeah.
it, like I'm flattered.
No, sometimes it's like you forget that speaking into these, like you're actually speaking to people
Yeah.
in their
Mhm.
ears and shit.
Mhm.
But that's definitely just probably some of the imposter syndrome. You know what I mean?
I'm just talking to my mom. Hey,
Mom.
I'm on TV.
Yeah.
I did it.
Shout out to the moms.
Yes.
Moms.
Where would we be
Moms.
without them?
I don't know where I'd be.
That's true. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Did she encourage you in your creative endeavors, or was
Always.
it kind of like, oh no?
Always,
Nice.
always since I was born.
Yeah.
Nice.
Your
Every
mom's always a Lakers
interest.
fan, no matter what.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you know,
dude, usually.
my mom and dad, they've never.
That's nice.
I mean, when I said I wanted to be a photographer, it was like, huh? My mom saw it right away, and what she saw was me loving it
Right. Your passion for
and
it.
being invested in it and spending so much time in it. That's what she saw, and that was enough for her to be like, yeah, I'm all for it. If you need help with this or that, or I'll tell people about you, and I'll tell people about you and all of that. And my dad is kind of like, okay,
Get a real job.
yep.
Okay, Dad.
And after a while, it came times where, I mean, even to this day, I'll show them something. Yeah, I'm always like showing them stuff on
Yeah.
my phone or sending them things. And like I showed my dad something this morning because visiting them. So I showed him this video that I did for a fashion designer in LA, and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool." And then he was like, "Maybe one day you'll meet him."
Oh,
He was like, "Since you moved out there, maybe one day you'll meet him or whatever."
like,
I
Dad,
was like, yeah.
Dad.
I was like, I did. He was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. Well, I shot the video. I just showed you in his house.
Oh my God.
He was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you always have to prove it to them. Like,
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's always gonna be a, when are you gonna get a real job? No,
Yeah.
they don't ever say that, but
Right.
it's always
That's what
gonna
they're
be
implying.
that feeling.
That's
It's your
subconscious thing.
parents.
Yeah.
If your parents really care about you, they just want you to be stable and be able to take care of yourself.
exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and because like when they're gone, like you're gonna be out on your own and
Yes.
shit and stuff. And I guess if they worry, it always comes from that place too. Regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's hard to sometimes like they'll squash it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you're fucked.
Yeah, but they just never have done that for anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's nice. Well, so what did you start taking photos with? Like your phone, or you got yourself a camera at some point?
I immediately went and bought a camera from Best Buy.
Hell yeah.
Word.
That's another thing. That's how I can tell when somebody, I don't know if I'm too loud. That's how I
Perfect.
can tell if somebody is actually interested. There's lots of people, throughout the years, I want to be a photographer, but
But they
don't
won't
even
be
ha-
like, it's like they won't spend more than $100
Exactly.
on something.
You know what I'm saying? They won't even buy a camera.
Yeah.
So I bought a camera
Yep.
from Best Buy. It was on sale. It was for $250. It was a Nikon D3300.
Oh yeah.
And it was
Hell yeah, dude.
bright red.
Oh,
and
yep.
it was a Christmas edition.
Fuck yeah.
And I just got it. It's the only
I
one
know
there,
the
so I
one,
just
yeah.
grabbed it. I was like, forget it. And so I started with that. Like I said, shooting water bottles and stuff, actually being a little self-conscious, thinking, nobody's gonna want me to take photos of them
Yeah.
if I don't know how to use this thing. So
Oh, yeah.
I wanted when I came out, my first anything for it to at least look like a half. Like
see
I
what you
know
mean.
what I'm doing a little bit.
Right, yeah.
So
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, so yeah, so it's kind of like putting out an album,
That's true. Your debut,
a photo album.
a photo album.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. My first camera was a Nikon D5100.
Mm-hmm.
I still have it actually in there.
Yeah.
We used it for this podcast up until like a few months ago.
Yeah.
That shit's been with me through thick and thin. But talking about like the dedication part of things, like, so I've definitely seen that too. Like people want something so bad, but they don't want to spend money on it or make sacrifices for it. Like in your mind, what kind of sacrifices does it take to get to a job like this that you want to do, or like a creative job? You know what I mean?
Well, putting in lots of hours
Yeah.
in front of the computer, especially looking at YouTube. I say YouTube because YouTube is free.
Good YouTube.
Yeah.
Educational stuff.
Yes. And because you can take master class and all this kind of like souped up stuff with high definition cameras and whatnot, but they're pretty much telling you the same stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Uh-huh. Pretty
You know,
much.
It's all about your pace and how you're trying to add to your repertoire of skills, just knowledge.
Yeah.
Whether it's you starting outside, but then it's a totally different beast once you go into a studio and you have to create the sunlight yourself.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Knowing how much of that light you need and how much to dial it back, or for different moods and using different colors and all. It gets super complicated. You know? And even that camera right there, I use a Sony myself.
Hell yeah.
And I know the
Sony
back of
gang.
it looks like the controls to like a spaceship.
It does.
To like
It's
a
insane.
person that doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
If I was to hand that to my mom, she'd be asking, where do I press the button to take the picture?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's like flying a
And-
plane.
Yeah. So
Well, nice. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Freaking anything that you can use that inspires you, I guess, and
Mhm.
gets the job done in a certain sense of the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you have planned for the future, or like, do you have any goals that you want to attain with your life? Like, want to fucking photograph this person or something, or
photographing a person per se, I don't really have like, I know like my photography friends, some of them have like the list,
Really?
different lists, different magazines, and I don't really have like a person. I just want to shoot people that are interesting and lead great lives and great conversation to have, while shooting.
That's true.
And just people that I can draw inspiration from, for my everyday life.
Nice.
But magazines, I'm thinking like Billboard, Vanity Fair, Variety,
That'd be cool.
things like that. More so, like I said, in the entertainment realm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
That's sick, dude.
yeah, maybe I'll shoot Denzel one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be some dope shit.
Or well, hey, maybe I'll shoot Will Smith.
Hey,
Yeah.
Denzel
Be
Washington.
careful. Be careful.
That'd be good.
You might hit.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Will.
Yeah. Maybe I'll shoot Will Smith one day, and he'll be on the cover 10 years from now when they allow him back.
Exactly. You'll
And-
shoot his cover for this comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it'll be
God.
crazy.
I've changed.
He'll be bald and he'll have a huge beard.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
He
just
looks like Uncle
predicting
Phil.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like Uncle Phil.
Yeah, I'm just predicting this.
He
I don't
actually
know.
did take a trip to India to like
Really?
find himself.
Oh yeah, it's over.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Whoa.
just like, whenever you see people take a trip to India, it's like they're really looking for something.
Yeah, look at Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, for real. Well, the Beatles did that too.
Really? Oh wow.
Um,
What would you say is like your most favorite shoot that you've had so far?
it's a good one.
Favorite shoot? I've been asked this question before,
Really?
and I told them that I'd get back to them multiple times. Like,
Oh,
yeah, but now that the camera's on me, I feel like I have
Yeah,
to.
you obligated.
Favorite shoot?
Don't be shy.
Man.
Don't be nervous.
Okay. So there's this really nice, really great fun shoot. So a friend of mine, Madison Bailey, she's a star on The Outer Banks. It's a Netflix series.
Right,
Okay,
right.
nice.
And this day, I had like New York fashion stylists like sending clothes, and people sending clothes. Just this was like the first time where I had like a shoot where all the pieces that a photographer really needs to make a big production shoot was there. Like
coming together
everybody,
for you.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I had a team. My friends were there to help me. Chris, Kelvin, makeup artist, Bella. It was lit, and that was like a great day. Everything was going perfect.
Oh, word.
Honestly, in the beginning of the day, it was like about to fall apart, and I honestly didn't think that it was gonna happen.
Oh,
Not gonna
yeah.
lie,
Oh god.
but it happened. Everything happened on time. I got all the clothes on time. Nothing was damaged. And the end of that day, it was so good. The energy was just so great that my friend Chris was making a video of me and Madison dancing to the 2C Slide dance,
Nice.
which is a Drake song that he had dropped like during the pandemic time. So
Right.
that was another reason I was really happy, because everything was supposed to be, be
Dude.
shut down. It was so hard to like make stuff happen, and it was happening. So we like posted this video. I posted a video of me and her dancing. Like usually I would never post a video of us dancing, like
I feel that,
me
yeah.
dancing.
Oh, yeah.
That's so out of brand.
Yeah, right. So I'm just like, man, this will ruin me. So, but something that night, for some reason, I just said, hey, I'm just gonna post this. It looks, we're having fun. It was great. And so I posted it, and I like went to sleep, and then I woke up, and like my phone was like blowing up.
Yeah.
People texting me and
Damn.
screenshots and all this stuff, and I was so confused. It was like 1 a.m. People just blowing up my phone. But apparently, Drake saw the video.
Damn.
And shared it on his story. And like liked it.
Wow.
And so You know,
You made
I
it
remember.
big, kid.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought in a moment. I was like, yeah, nothing can
made it
stop me
big,
now.
kid.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I'd be like, that's some
Yeah.
validation.
Yeah. It was a great moment, but that was probably the greatest shoot because just that whole day, just everything was going good. Even after the shoot, we went to go eat, and as we're leaving out, like this guy recognized Madison. So he's like, yeah, you and everybody, which was like the team that we had put together for the shoot, we would get free smoothies once a day from his smoothie shop out here in Mount Pleasant. Blend Juice Bar, actually.
Oh.
Go check
Dude,
it out.
I used to work at Blend.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The one on Coleman, they closed there, I think.
Yeah,
But
well, he let us get it for a year as long as we showed like this
Damn.
photo. Like he took a selfie with all of us, and then they were like, "Yep, that's him." and so yeah, that was cool. So
yeah,
all
sounds
of
like
that
a great
happened in
day,
one
just
day
like- yeah, that sounds awesome.
from taking photos.
And then
Yeah.
like everything that's come from that too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. How did
Yeah.
you get that schedule that shoot with her? Did someone just like refer you to her or her to you type thing or?
How did that work? That particular day, you mean?
Oh, just that shoot. Yeah, that day with her.
Well,
Was that the first one you've done with them or?
no. See, you're maybe talking about shooting like the cast of OBX.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time I'd done that was like the year before.
Oh,
that.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but just shooting Madison that day was for a
Oh.
magazine
So
submission.
you had already
Oh, okay.
kind of known them. A
Yeah,
little bit?
at that point, I see.
Nice,
In
I
the
see.
beginning, I knew Madison Bailey from a friend of mine, Jarrell Jerome.
Nice.
He was shooting a television show here, probably like 7 years ago now. Man, time flies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. But she was guest starring on the show, and I met her through him for a brief moment. She went back to where she lived in North Carolina, and 3 years later, she came here to shoot OBX, and she hit me up. It's like, hey, you're kind of like one of the only people I know
Oh, nice.
in the
yeah.
area shooting this show.
Mhm.
We don't know, where it's gonna go, anything. We're hoping it's gonna go on Netflix. It's great, but let's just hang out, maybe do some shoots here and there.
Nice.
And I was like, cool. So we just did that, and it was fun. And all of a sudden, the show drops, and then it's the #1 show on Netflix, which projects my work.
Definitely. Oh my god, 100%.
Because at that point, I had done so much stuff that we had built up,
Really?
together work.
that makes sense.
And so, that's before the show dropped, and then we even knew what it was going to do. But that put my work on a platform. So,
Yeah.
forever grateful.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because, that allowed, it's like being a local rapper. You start to get discouraged when you feel like nobody likes me.
Oh,
It's
This is my
like,
mixtape.
but
Trust me. I fucking
what
feel that,
people
yeah.
don't realize is that nobody has ever heard you or seen you before.
Mhm.
Especially like for a Charleston rapper. You can't give up and be like, nobody likes, my music here. When like
Nobody likes my music.
only when only 0.08% of the population in Charleston has heard your music, and those are your homeboys and people on your Facebook.
Mhm.
You think that's it,
Yeah.
but once your work gets put on a platform where the world gets to see it,
Mhm.
then you start to realize, whether or not, it's, what you think it is in your head.
Yeah. It's always, I
when
guess,
it
a little
actually
different.
gets seen, then you see the judgment.
Mm.
If everybody was like, yo, it sucks, then,
Yeah.
the world told you it sucked.
Mm.
But
Trust me, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you put yourself out there in any like realm or media or whatever, it's like people are gonna love it or hate it.
yeah,
A lot of people are gonna hate it probably.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't built up and ready for the expectation of being let down like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. So they would never take the risk, or
Uh-huh.
even let anybody see their work.
Yeah. The worse off doing that. Well, that's amazing, dude. It sounds like you're doing really great stuff. I think we covered a lot. Is there anything
We
that
covered a lot of ground.
we missed? Is there something you want to say?
Sheesh.
All right.
I might have to come back for another visit.
Hell yeah,
Word,
dude. When we
yeah.
move into our new place, our new studio, we'll get you in there for sure.
Yeah,
Better than this one, I tell you that.
Yeah,
I'd be
we
very
got
impressed.
some good things planned for this
Yeah.
new set, to be honest.
yeah, but yeah. Next time we can just talk about LA adventures because
Okay.
Oh yeah, because
There's
we'll have so
some-
many more stories.
there are some movie stuff that's happening.
Really?
out there, like it's crazy. I mean, for one,
In real life.
okay, yeah, in real life, things have
Oh.
happened, that involved me, that I've just been thrown into. That's just been like,
Damn.
whoa.
Oh my god.
But then there's other things that I've just seen and just like, whoa. Like For
I'm here.
instance, you know, I guess we'll close it out. But
Yeah, go for it.
crazy LA story. This is just last week. I'm pulling up to my apartment. I'm at the intersection, and there's a cop that pulls up in the middle of the intersection on a bike, and he's about to direct traffic. So I'm like, okay, cool. So out of the tunnel that's across from the apartment, there is a bunch of bikers just swarming out of this thing, coming around the corner, and they don't have clothes on. But I'm thinking, whoa, okay, it's one of those funny like run around in your underwear type things. Where it's like, you know, everybody's in underwear, haha. I look close, there's no thongs, there's nothing. You know, men, women, everybody, nothing. The most that somebody had on I saw was like a little satchel that probably had their car keys in it.
Oh my god.
And I'm thinking like the police is trying to stop these people.
Yeah.
He's guiding them through the traffic. And so it's just a different place. I mean, just
dystopian energy.
I mean, it's so there's so much strange stuff.
Yeah.
To where you're in it and you're like, am I in a Twilight Zone? Like, there's
Yeah.
no
I'm upside
way.
For how cringe it sounds,
Is
it's like it's
happening
just
right now.
kind of random.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the best way I could describe it is play Grand Theft Auto. And just as crazy and weird as the people act,
Yeah.
it's just like that.
Wow.
All the little non-playable characters, they act just like
NPCs.
that.
Well, that's good to know that at least there's some truth to some things you see.
Yeah, especially the landscape. I mean, you're driving around, you feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're in the video game. I like to use that reference.
That sounds amazing. We need to go out and do a man on the street in LA.
That would be fucking
That would be amazing.
That'd be insane.
Have you seen that? We'd like go and like ask people on the street.
Yeah.
Some shit.
I've seen that.
We want to do that in like
Different
other-
cities.
Yeah, big cities. and
Yeah,
shit,
that'd be
you know what I
dope. Yeah, LA definitely. You'll find some interesting people.
mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jovon, thank you again for your time.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at JovonXR. JOVONXR.
There you heard it, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Go ahead and listen to Apple Juice for Two anywhere you stream podcasts. Follow us at AJF2.podcast.
Everywhere.
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 We'll see you later.
No, I don't fucking deserve this.
Jesus.
Well, you seem very mellow today.
Fun.